Imagine this, a rising NFL star, a young man destined for greatness, suddenly finds his entire world crumbling in the most shocking way possible. Travis Hunter, the Jaguars' golden prospect, the player fans believed had it all: talent, fame, and a picture-perfect love story, has been thrown into the kind of scandal no one saw coming. The whispers started small, with cryptic posts on social media and strange sideline glances. But now the truth has exploded into the open. Travis's wife is allegedly pregnant. And the father might not be Travis at all, but one of his very own Jaguars teammates. Fans are stunned. Teammates are whispering behind closed doors, and insiders claim emotions inside the locker room are at an all-time high. What was once a fairy tale of love and triumph is now being torn apart by betrayal, jealousy, and broken trust. Travis, usually known for his calm composure on and off the field, has reportedly broken down in private, struggling to understand how the person he trusted most could be at the center of such a devastating scandal. Tonight, we're diving deep into the drama no one thought possible, the shocking betrayal, the locker room chaos, and Travis's emotional spiral. This is the story of heartbreak, betrayal, and a man on the brink of losing it all. Travis Hunter's life seemed like a dream just a few weeks ago. He had landed in the NFL as one of the most talked about rookies in years, joining the Jacksonville Jaguars with fans expecting him to become the next big star. He had the charisma, the highlight plays, and a love story that people looked up to. His wife was often seen cheering from the stands, smiling proudly as cameras panned toward her, making their relationship appear like the perfect fairy tale. But behind the glowing lights of the stadium, cracks were starting to show. And soon those cracks turned into an earthquake that shattered everything. It all started with small rumors whispered by insiders. A few bloggers hinted that something was off between Travis and his wife. Maybe it was her sudden silence on social media, or the way she seemed distant at recent games. Some fans brushed it off, thinking it was normal relationship stress, while others felt that something bigger was brewing. Still, no one could have imagined the storm that was about to explode. Sources close to the couple say Travis had begun noticing subtle changes. His wife, who used to text him good luck before every game, had stopped. She seemed distracted when they were together, her phone constantly buzzing with messages she didn't want to explain. Travis, torn between his dedication to football and the gnawing worry in his heart, tried to focus on the field, but the unease followed him everywhere. One night after practice, Travis reportedly confronted her. He asked directly if something was wrong, if there was another man. Her response, according to those close to the situation, was defensive. She insisted he was being paranoid, accusing him of letting the stress of NFL life cloud his judgment. The argument escalated, voices rising until neighbors could hear the shouting. Travis, frustrated but unwilling to push further, let it go, at least for the moment. But the doubt lingered. As days passed, teammates began to sense that Travis wasn't himself. He looked distracted in practice, his energy drained. Even coaches noticed. Fans online speculated about an injury or exhaustion, but no one knew the truth. It wasn't until a shocking reveal that the real story began to spill into public view. A source close to the Jaguars locker room leaked that Travis had overheard something devastating. While passing by a group of teammates, he allegedly caught whispers about his wife. The words, "she's pregnant and not his," echoed in his mind like thunder. At first, he thought it had to be a cruel joke, locker room gossip that meant nothing. But the way the players quickly hushed their voices and looked away told him otherwise. From that moment, Travis's world started collapsing. He rushed home that evening, demanding the truth. When he confronted his wife again, she hesitated. Her silence said more than words ever could. Finally, after hours of painful back and forth, she admitted it: she was pregnant. But she couldn't promise Travis that the baby was his. Imagine the heartbreak of that moment. A man who had given everything to his dream and to his marriage, suddenly left questioning his worth, his trust, and his family's future. Travis reportedly broke down in tears, something friends say they had never seen from him before. The weight of betrayal crushed him, leaving him gasping for air as his wife sat in silence, unable to meet his eyes. The story didn't end there. Word of this private disaster began leaking out, spreading like wildfire through social media. Fans who idolized the couple were stunned, posting comments filled with shock and disbelief. "Say it ain't so," one fan tweeted. "I can't believe she would do this to him," another wrote. Others speculated wildly about who the father could be. with rumors swirling that it was none other than one of Travis's Jaguars teammates. This added a whole new layer of betrayal. Not only was Travis dealing with a personal heartbreak, but now he was being forced to look across the locker room at men he was supposed to call brothers, wondering who had crossed the ultimate line. The tension was reportedly unbearable. Every sidelong glance, every inside joke, every hushed conversation fueled his suspicions. The media frenzy grew louder by the day. Sports shows debated how the drama would impact the Jaguars season. Some analysts argued that Travis's focus would be ruined, while others wondered if the team could survive such a toxic atmosphere. Meanwhile, fans were left divided, some showing support for Travis, others blaming his wife, and a few even questioning if the whole thing was exaggerated for attention. Through it all, Travis stayed mostly silent publicly, but behind closed doors he was spiraling. He confided in a close friend, saying he didn't know how to face the team anymore. "How am I supposed to line up next to someone who could have done this to me?" he reportedly asked. His friend, trying to console him, reminded him of his talent and his future, but the pain was too raw for encouragement to sink in. One particularly dramatic moment reportedly happened during a private team meeting. Tensions were high, and when a teammate made a subtle comment about loyalty, Travis snapped. He stood up, voice shaking with anger, and demanded to know if anyone in the room was hiding the truth from him. The room fell silent, the air thick with discomfort. Some players avoided his gaze, others shifted nervously. No one spoke, but the silence itself was deafening. At home, things were no better. Travis's wife tried to mend the situation, telling him that regardless of who the father was, she wanted him to be part of the baby's life. But for Travis, that felt like salt in an open wound. "How can I raise a child that might not even be mine?" he reportedly shouted during one argument. She broke down crying, insisting she still loved him, but her words rang hollow to a man whose trust had been shattered. Fans continued dissecting every move. When Travis appeared at practice looking distant, they speculated he was drowning in grief. When his wife was spotted at a grocery store, visibly emotional, fans posted blurry photos online with captions like, "She looks guilty." Every detail became part of the larger narrative, feeding the firestorm. Meanwhile, family members entered the fray. Travis's parents, who had always supported his marriage, were said to be furious. His mother, in particular, reportedly confronted his wife, demanding to know how she could betray her son. The confrontation turned ugly, with shouting and accusations flying until relatives had to step in. On the other side, the wife's family defended her, arguing that the stress of NFL life had pushed her into a difficult situation. The families, once united, were now bitterly divided. As this chaos unfolded, Travis began withdrawing. Friends described him as a shadow of himself, lost in thought, struggling to focus on even simple conversations. Football, once his escape, became another source of pain, as every glance at a teammate reminded him of the betrayal. And yet, despite the heartbreak, the story was far from over. Whispers suggested that Travis was considering a shocking move, something that could change not only his career, but the entire narrative of his life. But before that decision would come, he would have to face even deeper revelations, ones that would leave fans stunned all over again. And it was in that fragile moment, just as the weight seemed unbearable, that another truth was about to surface, one that would twist the knife even further into an already bleeding wound. The days following the shocking revelation felt like a blur for Travis Hunter. His nights were restless, haunted by the memory of his wife's hesitant confession, and his days were consumed by whispers and speculation that seemed to follow him wherever he went. The once steady rhythm of his life practice, film sessions, games, home had collapsed into a chaotic storm of suspicion and heartbreak. Teammates noticed that Travis had become withdrawn. He wasn't cracking jokes in the locker room anymore, nor was he hanging around after practice to bond with the guys. Instead, he dressed quickly, eyes fixed on the floor, and disappeared before anyone could start small talk. To the media, it looked like fatigue, but to those inside the building, it was clear. Something was seriously wrong. The tension was suffocating, and the silence among teammates only fueled the rumors. Behind the scenes, a few players tried to reach out. One close teammate reportedly sat him down and said, "Look man, you can't let this break you. People talk, but you're stronger than that." Travis didn't respond right away. After a long pause, he whispered, "How do I even look at them? How do I look at her?" The pain in his voice revealed just how deeply he was unraveling. While Travis wrestled with his emotions, his wife faced her own storm. Paparazzi camped outside their home, hoping to catch a glimpse of her baby bump, while tabloids printed sensational headlines about the scandal. Every time she left the house, strangers whispered, phones pointed in her direction. Friends who once supported her began keeping their distance, not wanting to be associated with the drama. She was isolated, yet she knew her choices had led her there. Still, she tried to salvage what was left of her marriage. One evening, she prepared a quiet dinner, hoping to create a sense of normalcy. She sat across from Travis, nervously pushing food around her plate, before finally saying, "I know I messed up. I can't undo it, but I want us to fight for this. I want us to fight for us." Travis looked at her, eyes heavy with exhaustion, and replied, "You broke something in me I don't know how to fix." Silence that followed was heavier than any argument they had ever had. Fans, meanwhile, were relentless. Social media exploded with theories, with some claiming to know which Jaguars teammate was the rumored father. Screenshots of alleged DMS, blurry photos of players near Travis's wife, and half-baked stories spread like wildfire. Even local radio stations began running segments titled, "Who Betrayed Travis?" Callers debated, some expressing outrage, others gossiping with glee. It wasn't just a scandal anymore, it had become a full-blown circus. Family tensions also reached a breaking point. Travis's mother refused to let the betrayal slide. According to insiders, she told her son, "You need to leave her before she destroys you completely." His father, on the other hand, urged caution, saying, "Think about your future, think about your image. Don't let anger make your choices." The conflicting advice only deepened Travis's confusion, leaving him torn between loyalty to his heart and loyalty to his career. Drama escalated even further when reports surfaced of a heated argument during practice. Sources claim Travis lost his temper after a teammate made a sly remark about family matters. Enraged, Travis confronted him in front of the team, shouting, "Say it to my face if you've got something to say." Coaches quickly intervened, pulling him away before things turned physical. The outburst sent shockwaves through the organization, confirming to everyone that the scandal was very real and very personal. But just when it seemed the situation couldn't get any worse, another twist emerged. A leaked message circulated online, allegedly from Travis's wife to a close friend, in which she confessed that the baby's father was indeed a Jaguars player. Fans pounced on the leak, dissecting every word and speculating on which teammate was guilty. While the authenticity of the message was never officially confirmed, its timing was enough to reignite the flames of controversy. Travis, overwhelmed, reportedly broke down in tears again after seeing the leak. He locked himself in his room for hours, ignoring calls and texts, shutting out even those who cared for him. Friends described him as shattered, saying he felt like his entire life was falling apart in front of millions of spectators. As if the betrayal and humiliation weren't enough, sponsors began to grow uneasy. Travis was seen as a rising face of the franchise, a marketable young star, but the scandal threatened that image. Whispers suggested that brand deals are being reconsidered, with companies hesitant to attach themselves to someone embroiled in such messy drama. The pressure mounted. Not only was his marriage collapsing, but his career and reputation were at risk too. His wife, realizing the magnitude of what was happening, tried to take control of the narrative. She considered giving an interview, hoping to share her side of the story. But every advisor she consulted warned her that speaking publicly might make things worse. Trapped between silence and scandal, she remained at home, her world growing smaller by the day. The Jaguars organization, desperate to keep focus on football, urged players not to comment publicly. But silence only fueled speculation. Fans at games began holding up cruel signs, some reading, "Who's your daddy?" and others mocking Travis directly. Every time cameras caught him on the sideline, commentators couldn't resist referencing the elephant in the room. It wasn't just gossip anymore, it was overshadowing the sport itself. And yet, through all of this, Travis still had to play. He lined up on the field, helmet on, heart heavy, trying to block out the noise. But every cheer from the crowd felt hollow, every touchdown overshadowed by whispers of betrayal. Teammates clapped him on the back, but he couldn't shake the question. Was one of these men the reason his marriage was in ruins? The emotional toll was unbearable. One night, he reportedly confided to a close friend, "I don't know if I can do this anymore. The game, the marriage, the pressure, it's killing me." His friend urged him to hold on. reminding him of the thousands of fans who still believed in him. But deep down, Travis knew he was standing at a crossroads as the pressure mounted. A shocking decision loomed. Insiders hinted that Travis was considering stepping away from the game altogether, at least temporarily, to deal with the chaos in his personal life. Fans debated whether that would be the right move. Some begged him to stay strong, while others said his mental health should come first. But before any announcement could be made, another revelation was about to send this already chaotic story spiraling even further out of control. The identity of the alleged teammate was closer to being exposed than ever before, and the fallout would leave the Jaguars' locker room in flames. The locker room had become a battlefield of silence, side glances, and unspoken accusations. Every day Travis Hunter walked in, the air grew heavier. His once bright and promising NFL career now felt like a prison sentence, each practice a reminder of the betrayal hiding in plain sight. Fans were already buzzing about the leaked message from his wife that hinted the father of her child was a Jaguars player. But inside the team, the tension was unbearable. Rumors swirled that Travis was getting closer to finding out exactly which teammate had crossed the line. One insider claimed that he had narrowed it down to 2 players based on suspicious interactions he had noticed between his wife and certain teammates after games. He remembered one particular night when he spotted his wife laughing a little too comfortably with a fellow player near the parking lot. At the time, he brushed it off as harmless. Now, those memories haunted him. What made things worse was the Jaguars' attempt to downplay the scandal. The head coach reportedly pulled Travis aside, telling him, "Focus on football. Don't let outside noise destroy what you're building here." But to Travis, this wasn't outside noise. It was inside his home, inside his heart, and maybe even sitting 2 lockers away from him. One dramatic moment came during a team dinner. According to a witness, Travis sat quietly at the table, avoiding eye contact with everyone. Suddenly, he stood up and said, "I can't sit here pretending like nothing happened. One of you knows what you did." The room froze, forks clinking against plates as silence filled the space. No one responded. A few players exchanged nervous glances, others shifted uncomfortably. But the guilty party remained quiet. Meanwhile, Travis's wife was struggling in her own way. She'd become a target of relentless online hate. Every post she made was flooded with comments calling her a traitor, a liar, a destroyer of families. Some fans even sent her threats, forcing her to turn off comments altogether. She reportedly cried for hours each night, telling a friend, "I never thought it would blow up like this. I never thought I'd lose him." But despite her regret, the damage was already done. As the scandal deepened, the family feud worsened. Travis's mother and sister were furious, openly blaming his wife for ruining not only his marriage but also his career. They demanded she leave him immediately. On the other side, her family pleaded with Travis to forgive her, arguing that everyone makes mistakes. The divide was so intense that when both families met at what was supposed to be a reconciliation dinner, it ended in shouting, slammed doors, and accusations of betrayal that left both sides more bitter than ever. Just when the tension seemed unbearable, a shocking twist rattled everything once again. An anonymous source leaked that the teammate suspected of fathering the child was none other than a player in the same position group as Travis. Fans erupted in outrage, tweeting things like, "How can you betray your brother like that?" And no wonder Travis looks broken on the field. Suddenly, the scandal wasn't just about Travis's marriage, it was about loyalty and betrayal within the team itself. Travis, hearing this leak, reportedly went into a rage. During practice the next day, he confronted the suspected teammate directly. Witnesses claimed the two exchanged heated words, with Travis shouting, "Just tell me the truth, man. Be a man and say it." The teammate, visibly shaken, denied everything, but his nervous demeanor only fueled Travis's suspicions. Coaches had to step in once again, pulling them apart before fists were thrown. The scene left fans and analysts stunned. Clips of the argument quickly spread on social media, with fans dissecting every second, trying to read lips and guess what was said. "This locker room is about to explode," one sports commentator noted. While the public obsessed over the drama, Travis's private world continued to crumble. He stopped going out in public, stopped engaging with fans, and even skipped a family gathering. One friend described him as a ghost of himself, saying, "He just sits in silence, staring at the floor. The guy who used to light up every room is gone." And yet, In the middle of this chaos, Travis's wife revealed another shocking truth. During a tearful conversation, she admitted that she had lied before she knew exactly who the father was. And yes, it was a Jaguars teammate. The confession broke Travis all over again. According to those close to him, he screamed in frustration, pacing the room before collapsing into a chair, holding his head in his hands. She begged him to understand, telling him, "I made a mistake, but it doesn't erase the love we have." But to Travis, those words felt empty. Fans were quick to react when the confession leaked. Hashtags like #justice for Travis and #lockerroombetrayal trended online. Many demanded the Jaguars cut the player involved, arguing that such betrayal could tear the team apart. Others called for Travis to leave the team entirely, saying he deserved a fresh start away from the toxic environment. As the pressure mounted, Travis reportedly began considering divorce. He confided in a close confidant that he couldn't imagine raising a child that wasn't his, especially when the betrayal had come from someone within his own team. "It's not just about her anymore," he said. "It's about respect. It's about the kind of man I want to be." The thought of walking away from the marriage broke his heart, but the alternative felt unbearable. The Jaguars organization, now in full damage control mode, arranged a private meeting between Travis, his wife, and the teammate accused of fathering the child. Insiders described it as one of the most tense encounters imaginable. Travis reportedly stared at the teammate for several minutes before asking one simple question: "Is it true?" The player hesitated, then finally admitted it. Yes, he had been involved with Travis's wife. The room erupted. Travis shouted, his wife sobbed, and staff members scrambled to keep the situation from becoming physical. The fallout from that meeting was catastrophic. Travis left immediately, slamming the door behind him while his wife collapsed in tears. The teammate, now exposed, faced the fury of the locker room. Several players confronted him afterward, furious that he had broken the unspoken bond of brotherhood. "You don't do that to family," one player reportedly yelled. News of the admissions spread quickly, sending shockwaves through the NFL world. Commentators debated whether the Jaguars could ever recover from such a scandal. Fans filled comment sections with messages of support for Travis, while blasting both his wife and the teammate. And yet, through all the chaos, one thing remained unclear. What would Travis do next? Would he file for divorce? Would he demand a trade to escape the humiliation? Or would he find a way to rebuild his life from the ashes of betrayal? As these questions swirled, Travis faced the most difficult decision of his life. And the choice he was about to make would not only change his marriage and his career, it would change the way fans remembered him forever. But just when people thought the drama had reached its peak, another shocking revelation was about to turn the scandal into something even darker, something that no one, fans, family, or teammates, was prepared for. The revelation of betrayal inside the Jaguars locker room should have been the peak of the drama. But for Travis Hunter, the nightmare was only beginning. The admission from his teammate that he had been involved with Travis's wife left him shaken to his core. The betrayal wasn't just personal, it was professional, it was public, and it was humiliating. Fans thought the story couldn't possibly get darker, but the days that followed proved them wrong. Travis disappeared for almost a week. He skipped practices, ignored calls from coaches, and avoided even his closest friends. Some feared he might quit football altogether, while others worried about his mental state. Reports surfaced that he was staying at a hotel under a different name, isolating himself from the chaos at home. One anonymous source claimed that when they saw him, he looked like a man carrying the weight of the world on his shoulders. Meanwhile, his wife was spiraling. With the truth out in the open, she had nowhere to hide. Paparazzi camped outside her house, capturing her every move. She was photographed crying on her porch, her hair disheveled, her hands covering her face. Tabloids splashed the images across covers with cruel headlines like "Fallen," "Queen of the Jaguars," and "The Scandal That Broke a Star." Her friends distanced themselves, and even some family members grew tired of defending her. The teammate who admitted to the affair faced his own storm. Fans turned on him instantly. During a public event, he was booed so loudly that he had to be escorted out by security. His social media was flooded with venom, fans calling him a snake, a traitor, and worse. Inside the locker room, things were no better. Players refused to sit near him, and some openly said they no longer trusted him on or off the field. The bond that was supposed to unite them as brothers had been shattered. While the world speculated about Travis's next move, another shocking twist hit the headlines. A leaked medical report suggested that a DNA test had been done, and the results confirmed that the child was indeed fathered by the teammate. The leak was never officially verified, but it spread like wildfire across social media. Fans gasped, some saying, "I knew it all along," while others expressed heartbreak for Travis. The hashtags #PoorTravis and #BetrayedByBrother began trending worldwide. When Travis finally resurfaced, he looked like a changed man. During a quiet meeting with a close friend, he reportedly said, "The DNA test just made it real. It's not just betrayal anymore, it's proof. And I don't know how to live with that." His friend tried to reassure him, but the pain in his eyes showed that no words could mend the gaping wound in his heart. The Jaguars organization, fearing a complete implosion, attempted to handle the scandal internally. They called a team meeting, urging everyone to move forward and focus on football. But the atmosphere was toxic. Travis refused to speak, sitting in silence with his arms crossed, while the guilty teammates sat isolated, avoiding eye contact with anyone. One player later described it as the most uncomfortable meeting of my life, off the field. Travis's marriage reached its breaking point. His wife pleaded with him not to leave, telling him she still loved him, begging him to think of the future. But Travis, his voice heavy with sorrow, reportedly told her, "Love doesn't survive betrayal like this." With those words, he began the process of filing for divorce. The news sent shockwaves through the NFL world. Media outlets covered it nonstop, fans debated every detail, and experts speculated about how it would impact his career. Some believed the divorce would free him to focus on football again, while others feared the emotional toll would derail his future. But the saga didn't stop there. As if betrayal, humiliation, and heartbreak weren't enough, another revelation emerged that stunned even the most jaded fans. Insiders revealed that the teammate involved in the scandal had been secretly seeing Travis's wife for months long before the pregnancy. There were dinners, late-night messages, and hidden meets. The depth of the affair painted a picture of a carefully concealed betrayal that cut deeper than anyone imagined. When Travis learned this, it broke him all over again. "It wasn't a mistake," he reportedly said in disbelief. "It was a choice." Over and over again, it was a choice. That realization hardened him. Friends say he stopped crying and started shutting down emotionally, replacing his heartbreak with a cold determination to move forward without her, without the pain, without the weight of betrayal holding him back. The Jaguars faced intense pressure to act. Fans demanded that the teammate be released, arguing that his presence was toxic to the team. Analysts debated whether keeping him would destroy the locker room entirely. The organization stayed silent publicly, but behind the scenes, discussions grew heated. In one final dramatic confrontation, Travis and the teammate crossed paths after practice. According to witnesses, Travis walked straight up to him and said, "You took my family from me, but you won't take my future." The teammate stayed quiet, eyes downcast, as Travis walked away. It was a moment that fans would later describe as the turning point, the moment Travis stopped being a victim and started reclaiming his strength. In the weeks that followed, Travis began to rebuild. He threw himself into training, channeling his anger into every sprint, every lift, every catch. Coaches noticed a new fire in him, a hunger that hadn't been there before. Fans rallied behind him, flooding social media with messages of support. "We've got your back, Travis," one fan wrote. "Rise above it," another posted. He became not just a player, but a symbol of resilience in the face of unimaginable betrayal. His wife, meanwhile, faded from the spotlight. Rarely seen in public, she became a ghost of the glamorous figure she once was. The teammate, too, struggled to regain respect, his career hanging by a thread as fans and analysts alike questioned whether he would ever recover from the scandal. But Travis, broken, betrayed, and humiliated, stood tall. Though the scars would never fully heal, he was determined to prove that no scandal, no betrayal, no heartbreak could destroy him. And as the season loomed, fans waited with bated breath to see if he would turn his pain into greatness on the field. Yet even as Travis rebuilt his life, one haunting question lingered. Could he ever truly trust again? And would the shadow of this betrayal follow him forever? The answers remained uncertain, but one thing was clear: the story of Travis Hunter, his wife, And the shocking pregnancy scandal had become one of the most unforgettable sagas in NFL history. And so, as the dust settles on the storm of betrayal, heartbreak, and shattered trust, one truth remains clear: Travis Hunter's journey has forever changed. From the moment whispers of infidelity spread through the Jaguars locker room, to the devastating DNA confirmation that ripped apart his marriage, fans have witnessed a story more shocking than anything scripted for television. Emotions ran high, families were torn apart, and a promising career was nearly consumed by scandal. Yet, through all of it, Travis has shown resilience. He stood face to betrayal, broke down in front of the world, and still found the strength to rise again. But the questions remain: will he be able to rebuild his life fully, or will the shadows of this heartbreak follow him forever? Will the Jaguars ever recover from the betrayal within their ranks, or has the damage to trust already destroyed their bond? And perhaps the most haunting question of all: what does the future hold for Travis Hunter, both on the field and off it? This is where you come in. What do you think lies ahead for Travis? Will he use the pain to fuel his greatness, or will the scars of betrayal keep haunting him? Do you believe he should forgive, forget, or move on for good? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. We want to hear every theory, every opinion, every piece of advice you would give him if he could hear you right now. Don't forget to like this video if you were shocked by these revelations, and subscribe so you never miss another explosive update. Hit that notification bell, because in this story, every twist is wilder than the last, and you won't want to miss what happens next. The saga of Travis Hunter isn't over, it's only just beginning.